Welcome to this edition of Northwest Real Estate Forum. I'm your host, Patricia Wangsness. Our mission is to bring you experts and relevant topics that will help you understand the art, science, and timing of real estate. Because after all, your home is your biggest asset. This is part 2 of our conversation with Alan Pope of Alan L. Pope & Associates. Alan is often referred to as the appraiser's appraiser, and he is called upon for his expertise by real estate professionals and homeowners to comment on the value of real estate. Welcome back, Alan.
Thank you for having me.
So we already talked about some of the reasons why you're called in on some of the more complicated residential sales. But maybe you can tell the people who are watching exactly what the mechanics of an appraisal are. Usually people don't know. If they're getting a mortgage, the bank orders the appraisal, and we the real estate agents hear, okay, it appraised or it didn't appraise, and we get this report, and there's all sorts of complicated things in there, and that report got even more complicated recently by the federal government stepping in and helping you out. So maybe you could just give us an overview of what is it that an appraiser does. You get the order, and then what?
When I receive an appraisal order or a request for an appraisal, usually I'm doing research while I'm talking to the client on the phone, whether it's the bank, the attorney, the private individual, realtor. I want specific information before I'm going to quote a fee or before I'm going to state what the time frame is for delivering that appraisal report. Once I've got my basic framework done, and I call an appraisal a puzzle, you build your framework first, and then you try and make the pieces of the puzzle fit. So I receive an appraisal order. I call the client or the homeowner and request an inspection. Usually an inspection should take approximately an hour. With more complex properties, it can run about 2.5 to 3 hours. And I'm going to meet them at their home. And I'm going to want them to walk through their home with me. And that way we can discuss the physical characteristics of the property, things that are important to them. And I'm basically giving them the opportunity to sell me on their house. I can listen to what they say and how the home functions for them and get a better understanding of the residents. That doesn't mean after my 30 years of experience that I don't already know, but I want them to feel at ease with me as a professional entering their property. I'm a guest. Mm-hmm. So following them through their house and allowing them to show me their home, then I step out on my own. I want to measure the house inside as well as out so I can show the function and the square footage of the home in a building sketch. I take photos inside and out as well because I'm required to, number one, and number two, it's a great exhibit in expressing what the home looks like in pictorial. Then I step into the marketplace, something I have preliminarily researched prior to even coming out to the home. There are assessor's records and photographs, aerial photographs, maps, topographic maps, things of that nature that you can pull off the internet. That information allows me to have a basic description of what I'm getting involved in. So then I step into the marketplace and I'm driving by comparable properties. Those most significant I'll take pictures of, and I will call the homeowner, realtor, or seller, those that are knowledgeable with what has occurred in the transaction.
So you will call something that maybe was sold or something that might be on the market. You might visit something that's on the market, and if something has already sold, you might call and see if there were any special circumstances, right?
Correct.
Okay.
What is the motivation of the buyer and the seller in that property? What drove the seller to sell? What's driving the buyer to buy? And once I understand those nuances, I have a better understanding of the market for that home, and then I can better relate that back to my subject property. Mm-hmm. As I'm gathering that information, I'm gone back to my office now, and I'm writing up an appraisal report. And I'm taking that data that I've gathered to fill in the pieces of the puzzle to make that appraisal work so that I have, once complete, a defensible and sellable appraisal report that my client can rely on.
So you take, the thing that always fascinates me about appraisals is you put up a cost. So if you're comparing a 4-bedroom house, you might have a 3-bedroom house that's a comparable in the same subdivision, but it's only 3 bedrooms, and there might be a 5-bedroom house, and you make a financial adjustment for each of those. That's always fascinated me.
I do make adjustments for difference in function of a residential property, whether it would be a bedroom or a 3-car garage as compared to a 2-car garage, or fireplaces, or quality of construction. I'm looking, when I'm walking through a home, for physical characteristics. And that's not only how a home functions for the homeowner, but also what I feel a buyer would read in that home. So when you know an appraiser is coming to your house, stage the home. You know, clean up the mess. Mow your lawn. The appraiser weighs these factors in, calling it pride and ownership, if you will, and takes that back to the office when he's writing his appraisal report. Prepare for the appraiser. Make the bed. You know,
yeah,
mow the lawn.
no, absolutely. So you've written your report, and then we get the report. And there can be kind of cumbersome and complicated, and some of it's technical language. But so when it appraises, we can all feel good. But if it's appraising above market, then the seller, we don't ever tell the seller. The buyer's all excited that they think they've pocketed money. And when it appraises a little bit below, sometimes there are questions and challenges. So what should a homeowner do if it didn't appraise?
Well, the homeowner can challenge the appraiser's opinion through the gathering of data and information that they think was pertinent in the valuation process that may have been excluded. I would prefer that the homeowner or the realtor that's involved in a transaction bring that information up front to the appraiser, to their attention. Therefore, you're not trying to catch up with an opinion that's already been lent to the bank.
Good.
So have information ready, whether it's sales information, whether it's a cost of remodel, whether it's repairs or remodeling that has been done to a home, new roof, furnace. Point those things out to an appraiser in a laundry list of information, something he can take with him on a piece of paper that's tangible at his office.
Terrific. Well, what you've done is explain the process of what an appraiser does, given our sellers some tips as to what they do to prepare for an appraiser's visit, and also given the buyers an understanding of what an appraisal, what goes into the appraisal that they get for the report. Thanks so much, Alan. We appreciate you coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching this edition of Northwest Real Estate Forum. Whether you're buying, selling, or sitting on the sidelines, keep watching for important information on topics that are impacting your biggest asset, your home. To learn more about this and other shows, please visit us at northwestrealestateforum.com or check us out on Facebook. While you're there, be sure to order your free copy of Neighbor Law, Fences, Trees, Boundaries, and Noise by Cora Jordan. You'll be surprised at what you learn. I'm your host, Patricia Wangsness. See you next time.